AJSmith365.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is AJ Smith, AJSmith365.com. If you're checking me out on the website, please make sure that you bookmark the page. If you're on YouTube, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Also, please subscribe because we're dropping content basically around professional development and personal finance. So if that's what the kind of content that you want to hear, please subscribe and you'll get notifications when we drop new content. Also, I'm on AJ Smith 365 everything social media, so please check me out there. Primarily I'm on Twitter. Maybe I'll start getting active on Instagram, but we'll see. My previous video I just did, it was in regards to dispelling the myth that was basically promoted, from at least from my perspective, at least from my knowledge, by Robert Kiyosaki, that your personal residence is not an asset. I think I did a good job as far as dispelling that myth. It is an asset. Is it an income producing asset? Probably not unless you're renting out rooms, but it's an asset nonetheless. But I kind of want to talk about the importance of owning property, particularly your homestead, your primary residence. But in order to do that, I'm going to kind of go back and kind of give you a little bit of context around what I'm going to talk about. One of the things that I'm most appreciative of is I think I had some fantastic parents, and I am grateful to the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, for putting me in a situation where I had some parents who were at least loving and considerate and at least looking out for me. Because trust me, I know people right now. I know these people, you're probably going to be like, man, this dude knows a lot of shady people. But trust me, I know people who, they say, man, I'm going to live while I'm here, and I'm going to buy what I can, and I'm just going to, by the time I go into the ground, I'm going to spend all my money. I'm not leaving anybody anything. And they have these kids out here in the world. And trust me, a lot of these people, kids, they're not doing fantastic. They have trade type jobs. Trade type jobs. I mean, y'all may think I'm taking a shot at, being a mechanic or being a plumber. Not necessarily, but, if your kids are just out here, these kids didn't ask to come here into this world. Now, it's a different story if you tried to give them guidance and they just went a different route. But I'm just hearing this from a few people who they're really just thinking about themselves. And the one thing that I can honestly say is in my situation is that my parents were at least considerate. And they're thinking about me. They're thinking about my future. They're thinking about my nephews. They're thinking about my kids, their grandkids. And they're at least trying to make plans as far as saying, when we part this, or when they part this earth, we want to at least be able to leave y'all things of substance. And I'm getting to the context part is, my father, again, I'm a Generation X. You could probably see it. You could probably see that, I don't consider myself totally an old head, but I'm getting there. And my father's probably a part of the nameless generation, that generation that went to Vietnam, that generation, that sharecropped, and as African American individuals, we're like, he's like definitely can remember sharecropping. We're one step out of slavery, at least as far as from him. And, I can tell you that in talking to my father, the one thing that he's proud of, and the one thing that he's always said is, you got to own some land, own property, own it, own land, get you some land, own property. My father's always been that way. When he went and joined the military, the first thing he did was, because again, our family, and again, black people weren't the only ones sharecropping. There were white sharecroppers too. So, white people, this video isn't just about black people. This video is about white families too that can remember being a part of that nameless generation, because not all white families were rich. You know, again, the 1%ers have been around for a long time. The people in the 10% have been around for a long time. Everybody else is just out here in the world. And when you have a family or you have a father that can remember sharecropping and busting their tail in the field, having to leave school, you know, at the only bit, you know, they go to school in September and by October, November, you know, they have to withdraw from school to go work the land and help the family sharecrop in order to just break even. I think that kind of psychologically did something for my father, or to my father. So when he went out and joined the military to, you know, do something, you know, produce something for the family, because, you know, again, my grandparents were sharecropping and they didn't have a home. My father bought, I think he said they called them shell homes back in the day. And this is down south where, you know, they would come there and they would just basically lay out the exterior walls of the house, and then you had to build the interiors. And I think my father said that every time he got his check, he would send a little bit of money home and they would start separating walls to give people a little bit of privacy. And with every check, he did more and more for the house. And my father has always been the type of person where he's always bought property, bought land particularly. He bought, like, so that's the thing that he's doing now, is like he's living out. And again, going back to my video about an asset, when Robert Kiyosaki doesn't want to say your primary resident isn't an asset. When my parents sold their house in DC, they walked away with a lot of money. If you're not familiar with DC, a lot of DC people came up in the you know, in the 90s, 2000, when gentrification occurred. And I'm pretty sure people in Harlem can relate. People in Oakland, y'all can relate as well, because these values in these areas are shooting up. When my parents walked away with that money, first thing my father did was he went down and he just reliving his dream. Now, of course, me looking at it from the outside, I'm like, man, you have a little bit too much land. But this is something that he's used to. He wants to start farming, and he just wants to do and just live off the land. And, you know, he's down there saying, I'm having fun. He's playing, you know, and he's doing whatever it is he's doing. But what I'm trying to say is this. He's always instilled and he's always looked out for his children and his grandchildren. And every time we go down, and sometimes you don't want to hear it, sometimes you're like, man, I know the big speech is coming, because every time you go down there, the things that he's going to do is he's going to ride you around the property. He wants you to know where everything is. He wants you to be able to know how to work all of the tractors and know how to bush hog, and he wants you to know how to do everything, because it's always said, if I'm not here, because my father always tell you, he'd be like, you know, I'm almost gone. You know, I got 1 foot out the door. And that's the way he talks. You know, he said, I'm almost out of here. I'm turning 80. I'm almost out of here. That's the way he talks. But he just wants us to be prepared. And part of the land is what he wants to ensure that his heirs have a place either to stay or can leverage the property to do whatever. And that's where I'm kind of trying to go with this video, is that sometimes the purpose of a primary residence, again, it provides shelter for you. It provides your shelter. It is an asset. If you have no place to live, or if you're at the whim of the landlord who can just 1 minute say I'm upping your rent, or 1 minute I'm adding on all of these contingencies to you living here, or I don't want you to live here anymore. You know, you're at that mercy. But when you have your own property and your own land, and you can tell somebody, get the hell off my property. That's what my father, he does that type of stuff. But when you can have that type of behavior, or when you have your own, you kind of can control your own destiny, barring eminent domain from the government. That's the only person you're not going to get around is the feds. You're not going to get around the state, local government. You're definitely not getting around the feds. But the purpose of owning property and homesteading is just for that purpose, to have, for you and your heirs to have a place to stay and or opportunities to do whatever it is you plan on doing. And if a family's doing it right, if you're doing it right, and what I mean by doing it right is that, like I said, my father, he's probably one of the first out of all of the children and siblings that he has. He's probably the only one that's been trying to think and do like this. And I'm not bashing my uncles or my aunts, but again, my father, he's about accumulating land, accumulating property. And his thing is, when he goes, he knows who his heirs are, and he can at least give you guys a foundation to start from. But as heirs, what you're supposed to be doing, speaking for myself, we're supposed to be adding on to what your family or what your predecessors have laid down for you. So if they lay down the foundation of, this is the homestead, or this is what I have, you're supposed to go out into the world. What you're not supposed to do, let's talk about what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to go out into the world or just say, well, my parents had all of this and I'm comfortable here, so I'm going to stay here forever until they go 6 feet in the dirt. And then all of this is mine. I mean, you can do that. That's your right, I guess. And if your parents will allow it, they'll allow it. But the bigger and better thing to do would be, let me go out here into the world and let me make my mark. Let me accumulate, if you want to accumulate property, let me accumulate some property here, whether it's commercial or residential. Let me accumulate. Or maybe you just say, hey, look, I'm going to rent because I know my family has the homestead there and I know what type of plans they are, but I'm going to rent, but I'm going to save up and I'm going to build up, a financial war chest. But you're supposed to be going out into the world, adding on to what your family has. Don't just totally rely and assume that everything's going to work out and that you're going to collect what's theirs. Go out into the world, make your mark. And, hopefully your parents live a long, happy, healthy life. When they go, then your piece of the pie may possibly, if that's their will, your piece of the pie will get bigger because you'll have what you've been building plus what they've been building for you. And then if your children come along, and then when it's your time to part this earth, then your children, if they've gone out into the world and made their mark, then they should have even bigger pie. And then that's when you're talking about where people can say, I have opportunities. I have opportunities to leverage some of this real estate that I have. This is how you build generational wealth. It may not be for you. You may not be the beneficiary of the wealth that's going to come about. You may be the first person to start thinking like this within your family. Somebody has to make a sacrifice. You may have to say, well, it's not going to work out for me in this lifetime. It may or may not, depending upon, how ambitious you are and how, well you execute. But you may have to say, hey, look, I'm setting up the next generation. And if all goes well, then you can have those opportunities where now you have individuals where they have this accumulation of land and or wealth, and it's up to them to figure out what they want to do with it. If they're ambitious enough to, get into, real estate development and or management, then they can take the properties and they can lease it, rent it out, become landlords, and they can generate wealth. And hopefully by then those properties are paid for. So most of what they have coming in is, profit, barring setting some aside for, maintenance and things of that nature, and to pay for your taxes and your insurance. But at least they have opportunities. They may decide, hey, let me sell off some of this stuff and, accumulate, cash. I just want to be liquid on cash. It's their right, because at that point in time, you're gone. You've left this earth. But the purpose of that and the purpose of residential properties too is for security and shelter. Yeah, that's true. But it does help build generational wealth. So, and how you do it properly, how well you execute. You have to execute properly in order for anything to be profitable. I don't care what you do. If you go out here and if you start playing in the stock market and you're not executing properly and you're buying junk stocks, you're not going to be profitable. If you're investing in businesses and or even franchises and you buy at the wrong price, you're not going to be profitable. The same is true when you're buying a residential property. If you're buying residential property and you're not doing the proper inspections or due diligence, and you're not getting your knowledge up on, the things that you should be looking for structurally in a home, like the age of the HVACs and the roof, the age of the roof, the plumbing, so forth. And if you're not basically based off of the property that you're looking at, and you're not calculating for the expenses that you may need to occur, and you're not valuing the house right, and you're not negotiating the price of the home, or even still too, maybe the market is too hot, and you just like, I'm just going to jump in, and as opposed to just saying, wait a minute, because they're talking about even in 2021, this real estate market is very hot. If you're not saying, look, this market is too hot for me, let it cool off, possibly. Let me take a step back, wait till the winter time and see how things shake out. But if you're just diving in, of course, everything's going to be an expense. It is going to be a liability. If you're just paying, and if you're buying a home as is, it's going to be a liability. But a home is always an asset, regardless of whether you live in it or rent it out. It's an asset. It may not be income producing, but it still is something that you can do. As far as profiting off of, you had the option to profit off of, but most importantly, it provides a shelter for yourself, and it gives you and possibly your future heirs an opportunity to leverage that resource later on down the road. So that's all I just wanted to say. I just want to kind of do a follow-up, and also kind of show you the bigger picture of how people should be thinking on building that generational wealth. Because sometimes it's not all about you. Sometimes it's about saying, you know what, I'm doing this for my kids, and I'm doing this for their kids, and I'm doing this for my heirs. So, and sometimes maybe it is about you. Maybe you will benefit from this. But, long term, it is sometimes where you're giving your kids an opportunity to have this wealth. And if they've gone out, and if you raised them well, and they've gone out into the world and they're able to accumulate stuff, that's how, you think about it, that's how a lot of empires got built. You look at the Zulu Empire, that's how the Zulu Empire got built. You expand. That's how the Khan dynasty under Genghis and Kublai, they expand. That's how the Roman Empire did. They expand. And the same should be true with you looking at it from a familial perspective, is that if your parents have something and you go off into the world, and if your siblings go off into the world, and if you guys make your marks instead of just relying on your mom and daddy, but if you all go out there and do something, then you can add on and expand to what your family has. So that's just it. AJSmith365.com. Just wanted to drop this little bit of knowledge on you. Again, if you like the video, like it. If you want to make comments too, please make comments. I'm open to having a discussion with any and everyone. And again, you can follow me on social media platforms, AJSmith365 everything, and bookmark AJSmith365.com. I'm out.